Something that I've been wanting to talk about on here is jealousy within friendships, but not as in, oh, my friend is jealous of me, but from the perspective of being the friend who is jealous. I had a friend that I used to be friends with. We're not friends anymore, and you know what? For good reason, because genuinely, I don't think I could continue being their friend because of the fact that I honestly was just jealous of them. I luckily did not treat this person like trash. I know that typically when you are jealous of somebody, jealousy is just like it just takes so much energy out of you. It's so hateful, and I know that a lot of times when people are jealous of other people, they treat them horribly. They're just very rude to them. I knew that being jealous of this person was a waste of my energy, and I hated feeling that way, and it was something that I really, really struggled with. So that's why I want to talk about it. I'm glad that I didn't treat this person like trash because I was at least aware that like jealousy is just like so consuming. But again, I just wanted to kind of talk about this. I am not very happy with where I am at in life currently. I have not been happy with my life for the past couple of years, and I was friends with somebody who was literally living like my dream life that I wish that I was living like at that time. Like they weren't necessarily like living the dream life that like I envisioned for like the future, like that kind of life. Like they're living like a life that like is just like very far ahead of mine, but like where they currently were at with their life is like where I wish I was currently at with my life. And mind you, this person did not have to do anything to gain this lifestyle. They just kind of had this life handed to them. Hence why I was just very jealous of them, because it's not like they had to work towards it or anything. Like that's just their life, that's just what they had, and it really, really sucked. To kind of put it more into perspective, like how intense it was, let's say this is kind of going to be a bad example because I'm going to list things that like you two have to work for in life to achieve it, but I want you to just kind of like imagine it from the mindset of like, okay, they didn't have to do anything and this is just their life. Imagine I wanted to be a lawyer and I wanted to live in this specific town. I wanted to have this kind of specific lifestyle and I wanted to drive like this specific kind of car, okay? That friend that I was friends with had all of that. Like they were the lawyer, they lived in the town that I wished to live in, they had the lifestyle that I dreamt of. Like they just had every single thing that I wanted for my life and they didn't have to do anything about it. I think this angle is a little bit better. Just imagine being friends with somebody like that when you are just like so unhappy with your life and they're just walking around every day with the life that you wish that you had. It almost just feels like it's a slap in the face, but like it's not, because that's just their life. And whenever this friend would just like talk about their life like so casually, like it was just so hard for me to just like not feel so bitter, because it's like you don't even understand like how lucky you are to have this kind of life, and it's just like the normal for you. Like your life is so casual to you, and it's just something that like I just can't have. I say that like they don't realize how lucky they are to have their life, but I honestly do think one of the reasons why I was so jealous of them is because of the fact they actually did kind of acknowledge that they lived a decently nice life, and the fact that they were grateful for their life and they were happy with their life made me all the more jealous, because it's like, okay, well, you're so happy and grateful for your life, like of course you are, like of course you are. Obviously, like we should want people to be grateful and thankful for like really good lives, but I don't know, like it really just like added to the jealousy, because I know that if I was living that lifestyle, if I had that kind of life, I would also be very, very grateful and happy. And I think because of the fact that they were so happy with it and they were comfortable with their life and happy with it, it just, I guess like the happier they were with their life, the more bitter it made me. And obviously that's just not a good thing. That's very unhealthy. And I don't want to have to feel that way about a friend, but that's just how I felt about this person. I wouldn't really consider myself a jealous person. I'm not really that jealous of people. Like I'm like jokingly like jealous of some people that like live like a lifestyle that I want. But I feel like because of the fact that this was like a close personal friend of mine, I guess, it just made it all the more worse. And I really am not kidding to you when I tell you like this person like had what I wanted for my life like that badly, like to a T, like literally every single thing down. They just had, like, it was actually insane how crazy, like even like little things that I wish I had, they had. Like it was so crazy. I wanted to be them so bad and I knew that I couldn't, and they just, ugh. That friend and I did end our friendship. We ended on mutual terms. We ended on good terms, which I am thankful for. There really is no bad blood between us, and the reason why we ended our friendship had nothing to do with me being jealous of them. Actually, they never knew that I had a jealousy issue towards them. So, you know, I think about that, and then I just think about the fact that, you know what, like, it is such a good thing that like we are not as close as we once used to be, and just not anymore, because I really don't think I could have gotten to a point where I was just fine with them, like not being jealous of them. And I feel like the only way that I would just not be jealous of them is if I had a better lifestyle, and I just don't. I don't wish the worst for this person. I don't wish anything bad on this person, but I just cannot keep around somebody like that in my life, knowing how unhappy I am with my life currently. And like, I just don't think I would have ever gone to a point where I wouldn't be jealous of them, to be honest.
It was a whole lot of honesty. A lot of people can't be honest enough with themselves to recognize their own feelings and their own jealousy. These people definitely become hateful what I really want to talk about was the fact that she said that they did not have to do anything to get their lifestyle. Walking around with it like it was a slap in your face. And the fact that they were grateful for their lifestyle. And that she would only have been happy if she was in a better position than them. All in all, yeah, she handled it well. However, the thing with jealousy and the fact that she said that they ended things on a mutual terms, I feel like maybe subconsciously she was acting out, or she was saying stuff, making comments or making jokes a particular way that led to the end of the friendship. Speculation. I will always value real. People don't like to be the jealous one. People don't like to admit that they are the jealous one. People would go out of their way to create fake haters. Some people, it's a sign of achievement. Another thing too was she said that she would only have felt happy when she had a better life than them. The thing with jealousy is that it puts the other person on a pedestal in your mind. However, you are acquainted with them, right? In some sense, they are your peers. They are somebody that's around you, and there's somebody that could be very, very close to you, or could be somebody that you know in passing. When you have your desires, you put them on a pedestal. She put her dream life that she would like to have at that moment in her life on this sort of pedestal, all the way up in the sky. However, somebody who she considered her peer was all the way up in the sky, enjoying the same life that she would have loved to have. When she says that it was handed to them, we don't necessarily know. I'm gonna say that maybe it's a case where they had money or opportunities, or she sees it as they had a lot of money or opportunities and she does not have that. Because the truth of the matter is, nobody's above you. Your desires and the things that you want, they're not above you. Yes, they may require little work. It's never above you though. It's never out your reach and out their grasp. And that's what jealousy does. It warps your mind. So maybe this friend actually had to do some level of work. The only work the friend had to do was actually go out there and ask for the things that she wanted, or go out there and budget, or whatever she needed to do to ensure she got the things that she wanted. In her mind, she's gonna say that it just came easy, everything was just easy, because in some sense she's trying to discredit her friend's position. It's like, because her desire is all the way up there and her friend, which is supposed to be her equal, is beside her, but for some reason the friend is actually up there with her desire. And so now, because she's been unhappy with her life for so long, she gets triggered within herself and she's like, oh, it must have been because my friend was, it's just privileged, blah 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 blah, discrediting all the things that her friend had and stuff. I don't necessarily think she has reached a stage where she understands that nobody's above her and nobody's below her and everybody's the same, and she just is so through all of the problems that she has to create opportunities for her to really create life. She hasn't gone to that stage as yet. Yes, so she is in her DD stage. Distance and diminish. You have to have distance and you have to diminish, because it's very warping, but her being exposed to her friend on such a high level boosts her ego in some sense. She saw this person as all the way above her and she has to diminish, and she also has to detach from them as well, because as she said in this video, she didn't think that she would have felt good within herself unless her life was better than her friend, aka that friend. And the fact that the friend had the life that she wanted became so central to her that they became a metric of her own worth and of her own life, to the point where she wouldn't feel good in herself unless her life was better. That's not any way to live. Living like that would cause obsession, which is why you have to detach. Diminishing is for your ego, detaching is for yourself. You have to detach. No, I feel like she's at an opportune phase right now where she can take this energy and really pour it into her life and really start creating a life that she wants for herself right now. That's what I think she should really be doing right now. So, kind of done on that. I want to talk about people's responses to her.
To take note of in that video where that girl admits to being jealous of her friend is her speech. Listen to the way that she talks, because this is something that's common amongst people who are prone to being jealous or envious. In her speech, the language that she exposes the lack mentality that she has and the scarcity mindset. Because she talks about how, in her experience, as she's witnessing her friend live the life that she would want for herself and have the career or the things that she also wants for herself, the mental internal dialogue in her mind as she's witnessing this is, oh, she has everything that I could ever want. She didn't even have to work hard for what she got. She didn't have to earn it. She said more things, but what's very clear in her video is that she's living in this lack mentality. She's got that scarcity mindset, and that's why she's jealous. She also said in her video that she's glad that they're not friends anymore because she couldn't stand being around her anymore. The thing is, just because she's no longer around that friend doesn't mean that she won't feel this way towards another person, because it's really not about the person outside of them. There's internal things going on. The issue that these type of people have, the people who are prone to jealousy and envy, is they don't know how to switch gears. Okay, and I'm gonna explain this because I was reading the comments on her video and there were people saying, oh girl, like jealousy is such a normal emotion, you know? And to an extent, yes, it is normal. But there are also people who I've listened to that made videos, they had takes about her video that were saying, no, like they don't be feeling jealousy like that. And they're not lying, okay? Because here's the difference. People who are prone to jealousy and envy, they're taking one pathway. Those who aren't prone to jealousy and envy, they're taking another path, okay? When you witness someone having the life that you would like for yourself, there's two paths in front of you. You either get resentful that you don't have it and you become jealous and envious, or you get inspired. You don't have it, but you don't have a lack or scarcity mentality. You see someone having what you would prefer for yourself and you get inspired and you watch and see and you're like, oh my God, like that's the possibility for me, right? So this is the crossroads or the gear I was talking about. People who are prone to jealousy and envy. Instead of switching gears and not outsource their power and get inspired, they put themselves like down and they sit in that ugly thing, that jealousy or that envy. It's also okay to first, let's say you witness that person having what you want. It's okay to first feel that jealousy, right? You go there and then you can switch paths. You switch the gear. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, when you are feeling envious and jealous, it's because you're not in your power. And you could think you're in your power until somebody else walks in that has what you want, or they may be more solid internally than you, and you collapse, right? And when that collapse happens, rather than focusing inward, they're looking at this person like, oh, why'd you make me feel this way? You know what I mean? When really it's internal. What I'm really trying to explain about people who are prone to jealousy and envy is they haven't mastered alchemy. And then there are those who are really good at alchemy, which is a very small percentage of people, but they're really good at not even having to get into that gear of jealousy. They just instantly go to inspiration because they have an abundance mindset. When they see someone have something, because they're not sitting in a lack mentality, they're thinking, I can have it too. I'm inspired. Oh my God. And this is something that they've been practicing since they were little. Maybe, yeah, they experienced jealousy when they were little, but subconsciously or internally, they just kind of knew how to switch the gears because they always called their power back to them. Because this is what people who are prone to jealousy and envy are doing. They're outsourcing their power, which they did themselves, right? They see someone that has what they have, or they see someone that's internally more solid than they are, and they collapse. Rather than going in, because when you have that internal collapse, it's a breakdown, right? You have to go in there and build yourself up. This is why it's good. It can be good to have a breakdown because each time that you collapse and build yourself up even stronger than before. But people who are prone to jealousy and envy, this is where they struggle because once their gear has been shifted to this side, they don't know how to get out of it. And the person outside of them who triggered this internal feeling and this internal breakdown, collapse that's happening, because they don't know what to do with it, they're going to be focused on that person who triggered it, and a lot of ugly shit happens. And that girl, she's developing a self-awareness, so you know, she'll get through it. I'm sure she'll work through that. But there are some people out here, a lot of people out here, who never develop an awareness to this, and they go through life feeling this way. In that video, she's still young, so it's not really showing up in her face, but there are people who go through life being like that, never developing an awareness to it, never working through it. And as they get older, because that energy that they're sitting in is like, there's a certain, see, like I'm not, no shade, okay, but there's a certain flavor to jealousy and envy. It's poisonous. And the more that they sit in this energy a lot throughout their life, it starts to show up in their face. They turn ugly, literally. People who are like that, their youth may cloak that type of character and behavior, but as they get to their 30s, that's when their face really shows.
I guess I'm just scrolling for a bit. Now, listening to her, I was mad because she's like, when people are jealous, they just have two paths, and they need to take one, and they need to change it into inspiration. Now, as somebody who's been jealous and I've gone through the jealousy, I don't see the person that I was jealous of as an inspiration, really, because inspiration is inspiration. Usually happens because there's like a distance between you and the person, or inspiration happens because you have the person, somebody that's close to you, they have one particular quality that you very much see in them, and you're like, wow, I would like to have that, and I value them for that, right? Jealousy, on the other hand, is literally an identity trigger. That girl said that that person had the exact life that she wanted to the T. Don't think you understand. She has the exact life that she had once to the T. Round. Jealous has to be all round, literally. They have to be close to you, and they have to be jealous of every single thing that you have, every single thing. And you guys have to be similar, some sort of similarities. I'm gonna talk more about this in my next video coming up. But jealousy is literally like a trigger. Your sense of self is literally threatened by that person. Like when I was jealous of that person, I literally felt it in my chest, which is how I knew it was deep anxiety. And that doesn't become, oh, I get inspired. What does that being inspired even mean? Like, oh, that person's doing what I want to do, let me go do that. That person can do it, so I can do it too. Sure. That's not the other side to the coin. One of the biggest reasons for jealousy is actually inaction. When I see something I want, I take steps to make it happen. I think jealousy comes from inaction and a lack of gratitude for what you have. Now, I don't know about the gratitude, right? But it does come from inaction. Because one of the biggest reasons why this person made me so triggered is because these things are my goals, and I was not necessarily hitting my goals for whatever reason. Now, it wasn't necessarily because I wasn't trying, but I had a consistency issue. And I'm now at a space where I've found out how I can be consistent. It's like I found my little method stuff. But back then I didn't have it. As well as it triggers your inadequacy. And it also triggers shame, toxic shame within yourself. Because here's somebody who's just as similar as you, very similar appear, right? And yet they are in a position that you would like to be in. Total T. So what does that mean about you? That means that there's something wrong with you. Toxic shame is essentially thinking that inherently who you are, your entire being, that something's wrong with you. And that person triggered it. Now, I do think it's a call to reflect within. One of the things I hate how people are like, oh, don't be jealous, be inspired, and take a different role in life. Like, it's not that simple. It's not true. Now, I'm gonna get into another segment with the valid and true thing, but I just don't agree with her saying just get inspired, because I don't think the opposite of jealousy is inspiration. I think the opposite of jealousy is going about your life and focusing on yourself. It's the opposite of jealousy. In different next videos, I had to pause it for a bit. Do we see this comment right here? Did we go to the same video? Should do this at a lot of thing as an example. Now, going back to the video, truth of the matter is we don't know exactly what she was jealous of her friend for. We don't know exactly what she was jealous of her friend. So what I have so far, I'm gonna be dropping my next video hopefully next week. Thank you all for supporting. Bye bye.